In fact, he says, in contrast to this atheistic worldview, the Christian worldview provides a firm foundation for science, right? If the universe is the creation of a personal God whose mind is supremely rational and orderly, and if our minds are designed and equipped by God to discover truths about the natural world, right? Because he put us in there that we would be, fruitful and multiply and that sort of thing. Then it makes perfect sense to pursue science. And we have an explanation for why science has been so successful. Well, because God created the world and he created us in the world.
Right. Yep. And we see that in his word. Ecclesiastes, Solomon, he come look at the ant, O sluggard, and see what he does. This is a continuing process that you can make both accurate predictions of what will happen, what has happened, and also how you can apply it in other fields as well. Moreover, the Christian worldview also provides the moral framework within which science can flourish and promote the common good. Again, I'm sure philosophers have made this, and I am drawing blanks on who to accurately cite, but the era of science only comes about because of believers of Christianity, of being cemented within the societal framework, and then going out and saying, well, what's God's world like? Yeah. Let's learn about it. And so even advancements within MRIs and the mapping of DNA, all those things are also done or lead to people believing in an ordered mind producing that type of information.
Yeah. Or at least assuming that it's orderly.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure that Watson and Crick believed in an orderly mind, but clearly they assumed that it was an orderly process, right?
So the often repeated charge that Christianity is anti-science couldn't be more mistaken. When we think more deeply about the kind of worldview in which science rests, we can see that the very opposite of true is true. Science itself depends on God. It depends on that worldview, and it's how we got to where we're at, and now we're throwing rocks at the people that we're standing on.
Yeah. So, he says that he would contend that the more we learn about the natural universe, and especially our small corner of it, the more evidence we'll find about the biblical worldview. Right. For example, he says that we've learned from the laws of thermodynamics that the universe hasn't always existed.
Nope.
Right? If the past were infinite, the universe would have completely run down by now. Right? So the universe must have had, he tells us, a first moment of existence. So either it simply popped into existence for no reason, with no explanation, or it was brought into existence by some transcendent cause.
Right. We've also learned that the universe as a whole, and our own solar system in particular, appears to be fine-tuned in numerous ways to support the existence of organic life. If the laws of nature had been even slightly different than what they are, no habitable planets or solar systems would ever have formed. In fact, the evidence indicates that our own solar system is fine-tuned not merely to support organic life, but to accommodate conscious organisms and to promote scientific investigations by those conscious organisms.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it's just, you're moving closer to what's kind of called the Goldilocks zone.
That's right.
And not just, we survive. And we can know things, and we continue on, and we can pass along information. That information is accurate, and people don't blow up the planet. So that we, people have tried, but there's a common good that says no, don't do that. That's incorrect.
Yeah.
So the odds of all this happening by sheer luck are so minuscule as to rule out chances as a serious explanation.
So we call this the anthropic principle, right, or the fine-tuning argument. So discoveries, he says, in chemistry and biology also point to the same direction as physics and astronomy. He tells us that ongoing research into the origins of life has only underscored how incredibly unlikely the origins of life has only, the first living cells arose by a combination of natural chemical processes and chance events, right?
There's a book that I read called Lost in the Math, How Beauty Leads Physics Astray. And I'm not going to try and Sabine Hassenfelder. Ooh, man,
there you go.
I've really retched in my own depth there. she's not a believer. But I read her book when we were doing Mitch Stokes' book, and she says like all these scientists are trying to explain quantum physics in looking for beautiful equations, because we've seen beautiful equations before, and so we really want to do this.
Yeah.
We want to find that thing that's simple. E equals MC squared. That's so simple.
So we're discriminating against the ugly equations.
Yeah. And
no ugly equations here.
Her point that she argues in the book is, why are we doing that?
Right.
Who cares about beautiful, simple equations? Why would you ever assume, especially with something so bizarre as quantum physics, that we'll find an answer like that? Yeah. So it's just, again, that the scientists who are atheistic in multitude, they're wanting to find things that are simple, that are beautiful, that have these weird.
It's amazing
why would
how
you
that
even
works,
have
right?
that?
Yeah. And so he tells us that, for instance, the origin of DNA is particularly perplexing for atheists, right? Because DNA carries complex coded information analogous to, for instance, computer software. And so information can, as we know, only be generated by intelligent sources, not by mindless natural processes. And so how do we get the software without a program?
Yeah. Well, it's other software. Right. Well, then it's other software, and then it's other software, and then that software just blinked into existence.
Right. It's software all the way down. Right. It's along the turtles.
Yeah, the software that runs the turtles, yeah.